Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I give you all of the latest gaming news. And Sony has kind of been all over the place this week. Of course, they did reveal the PlayStation 5 price at their showcase earlier this week, but since then, they have done some very strange things. And that continues on today as they seem to be taking a shot at the Xbox Series S. Fans, though, aren't exactly buying into this comment, and I will explain why, so don't go anywhere because you're not going to want to miss that. Also, we got some new Xbox Series details, including a big launch game, file sizes, and more, so stick around for that as well. First though, let's go over some of the quick news, starting off with Hades. So Supergiant's next game, Hades, released on PC after being in early access for quite a while, and the Nintendo Switch yesterday. Supergiant Games is the developer behind Bastion, Pyre, and Transistor, so they're pretty well known for making great games, and they did it once again with Hades. In fact, it's currently tied as the third highest rated PC game all year, sitting at a 91 overall score on Metacritic. The only two games rated better are Flight Simulator and Half-Life Alyx, so it's got some good company there. I mean, both of those are potential games of the year, and now Hades is very possibly going to go in that category of Best Independent Game of the Year. Now, I haven't played Hades just yet, but it is a roguelike experience, and it sounds like it mixes a fantastic set of characters and story with an addictive combat system. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to pick this one up this weekend because it truly does sound fantastic, so if you're looking for a fun game to play this weekend, Hades might be worth picking up. Now, also the RTX 3080 released yesterday, and unfortunately anybody who was excited about getting that thing probably didn't have much luck. So the RTX 3080 did sell out, which, okay, that means it was probably very successful, right? Well, sure, I mean, technically, yeah, it did sell out, so that's a success for Nvidia and any of their retailers. But the reason we're talking about it is because of how it sold out. So earlier this year, the Nintendo Switch was having some stock issues, and really that's continued on all year. And one of the reasons is because scalpers are creating bots to buy up all the stock so they can then go sell them on eBay for twice the price. Yeah, the whole situation just sucks, and that's exactly what happened with the RTX 3080. These things got hit by bots hard, and fans are not happy. You can go over to eBay and see they are getting review bombed in hopes it hurts these scalpers. I mean, this is just such a messed up situation, and I partially blame the retailers. I know it's their job to get rid of the product as quick as possible, but we're starting to see a trend here with these bots, and I think retailers should probably start limiting consumers to one purchase per customer. That could potentially stop things like this from happening, and I'm just going to say this now. Those Xbox Series pre-orders happening next week may have the same issue. I think that this is going to be problematic, and this is just my recommendation. If you want an Xbox Series, I think you might want to consider going to a local store and just pre-ordering it there when the store opens up. I had to do that earlier this week with the PlayStation 5, and I'll probably do the same with the Xbox Series X. I think doing it online may have more than just a few fans frustrated. I may be wrong about that, but we'll see what happens. As for the RTX 3080, it's just unfortunate, and I do hope fans who actually want those gets them sooner rather than later. Let's change gears for a moment though and talk about a legendary developer, Michel Ancel. If you don't know who that is, he is the creator behind Rayman and Beyond Good and Evil. Now, I love Rayman, and I'll say this over and over again, I think Rayman is some of the best platformers ever made, both in terms of 3D and 2D. They're just great games, and I know a lot of people really enjoy Beyond Good and Evil as well. The reason we're talking about Michel Ancel, though, is because he is now retiring at the age of 48. He has, of course, enjoyed a fantastic career making great games, but he is now moving on to his second passion, wildlife. As a Rayman fan, it does make me a little bit sad to see him retire, but I want to wish him all of the best in his future endeavors. He definitely deserves it, and I hope you join in and congratulate and thank him for his superb career. Now, of course, with him moving on, there are those questions, what about the games he was working on? And the good news here is that he did mention that both Beyond Good and Evil 2 as well as Wild are going super well. So that's very good news to hear, and again, big congratulations on the well-earned retirement. Let's talk about Xbox though. We do have a few updates to talk about regarding the Xbox Series, starting off with their new controller. As we saw earlier this week, the new PlayStation 5 DualSense controller comes in at $70, which had some fans wondering about the price of the Xbox Series controller. Well, it looks like it will debut at $60, which does make sense. The DualSense controller did add quite a bit of new technology, whereas the Xbox controller stuck with more of the if it's not broke, don't fix it mentality. I'm personally okay with that because for me, the most important thing for a controller is its comfort levels, and I think that the Xbox controllers are very comfortable. I will say I'm interested in those adaptive triggers for the DualSense though, because it does sound like that they're doing some pretty cool stuff with that, but technically, Xbox has impulse triggers, which is the same technology. So I'm curious if the DualSense takes that technology to the next level. But either way, the new Xbox Series controller will stick with that $60 price tag, which is good news as game prices appear to be going up, or at the very least with some publishers so far. They also announced Gears Tactics will be a launch title for the Xbox Series, with enhanced controller support, and it will be Xbox Series X optimized. Yeah, this is a game that Xbox fans have been wanting for quite a while, and I know some are kind of wondering about those launch titles for the Xbox Series. Well, Gears Tactics is actually a really good strategy RPG. It fits the Gears franchise absolutely perfect with the way the cover mechanics work. Honestly, I feel like they should have done this years ago. I know they did have plans for a game like this at one point in time, but it never made it out of its early stages of development. But if you like these type of games, then Gears Tactics is a great game. And this certainly makes the launch lineup for the Xbox Series look much better. Now hopefully Flight Simulator gets an Xbox Series reveal soon as well, but for the meantime, this is something for Xbox fans to look forward to. Now you have Gears Tactics, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Crash 4, and hopefully some other good games like The Medium and Call of the Sea for the launch of the Xbox Series. If you ask me, that sounds like a pretty good launch lineup, but I would like to see some more confirmations on release dates. I'm kind of hoping we get an Xbox event here soon where they kind of do one last big blowout before the launch. With that said, they have been giving some new updates, and now we know about file sizes. One concern for the Xbox Series S has been with its solid-state drive capacity. It is just 512 gigabytes, so some fans are kind of worried that the space is going to fill up extremely quick as games are likely going to increase in size next generation rather than decrease. Well, the good news here is that the Xbox Series S file sizes will be roughly 30% smaller than the Series X, since it will be a 1440p machine rather than 4K. So that should alleviate some of those concerns, and I'm just going to say it again. The Xbox Series S is an insane deal for what you're getting, especially if you don't care about 4K resolution. The processor is such a huge step up from this generation that it runs circles around the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro. Now speaking of the Xbox Series S, PlayStation boss Jim Ryan made a very strange comment today. So in an interview with AV Watch, he made some very debatable comments. So let's check this out. While talking about a lower-priced, reduced-spec console, he said he respects his competitors and philosophies, and even though price is important, they fully are committed to their own strategy. Yeah, there's no issues with any of what he said there, but then he continues on to say that in the history of gaming, creating a special low-price, lower-spec console is something that has not had great results in the past. Now he is clearly taking a shot at the Xbox Series S here, and okay, that's fine, but I'm a bit confused here. I'm not sure that there has ever been a low-priced, reduced-spec console launched side-by-side with a more powerful model. It really sounds like he is just making things up by this point. Now there has been lower-spec machines, such as the Xbox One S versus the Xbox One X, or the PlayStation 4 Pro and the PlayStation 4, but the lower-spec models sold more. The reason is because price is very important, but even then, they didn't launch side-by-side, so it's an apple to oranges comparison. I'm not saying that the Xbox Series S will sell more than the Series X because we're in uncharted territory here, but I'm not making the same claim he is. I mean, even if you look at consoles like the 2DS and Switch Lite, which are cheaper models that strip features away, sold very well. It's just such an odd statement because I don't think it's true, and this seems to be something he is making a habit out of right now. It was just yesterday that we were talking about how he lied about cross-generation titles coming to the PlayStation 5. Earlier this year, he basically said that they were not going to do that because PlayStation believes in generations. And now fast forward a few months later, and suddenly they reveal several of their big first-party games are cross-generation titles, and that the PlayStation 4 will be incredibly important to them for the next 3 to 4 years. So yeah, he already kind of misled consumers about that. I mean, I do get it, he is trying to run a business and he wants to sell his platform, but if he continues to make statements like this, where they're just not accurate or true, he is going to start to lose trust or goodwill with some of his fans. He might want to talk just a little bit less. Now, they did have one more announcement today, and this one was kind of expected by this point. The PlayStation 5 will not have backwards compatibility for the PlayStation 1, 2, or 3. It will just be for the PlayStation 4, and 99% of all PlayStation 4 games will work on the PlayStation 5. That part is great news. I'm not sure what the 1% is, but 99% is really good. With that said, I would have liked for older games to work as well, especially the PlayStation 1 and 2. I think that they could have probably got those to work on the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 3 would obviously be a problem because of that cell processor. It's probably hard to emulate, but it is what it is. I kind of expected this already anyways with some of the more recent news, but there it is. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.